And then there's hope. You know, you never know the difficulties that might come along, but where I'm walking right now was a difficult place. This is a battlefield for the Civil War, and right behind me are grave markers for some of those soldiers that battled in that day. And to think that such a horrible event happened right beneath my feet, and to think a lot of those people that are buried in that cemetery were probably my son's age. They're probably teenagers all the way up into their 20s or more. But imagine the difficulties, the pain and the suffering those young men went through, that they would see just horrendous events happening literally to their side, shoulder to shoulder. Somebody might get killed or maimed right next to them, and that would be a difficult option, wouldn't it? They might even be standing opposite of relatives, where one relative is pointed again at another and intent on taking out his life. That's a war. That's a difficulty. When you go to sleep and you don't have any idea what tomorrow has in store, probably would feel like a hopelessness when they would go to sleep each night. And yet, there's the idea that there's hope. And then there's hope. I hope that's something that you can really cling to and maybe begin to better understand each day, so that life isn't meaningless or hopeless, but life, even in the midst of the difficulties, in the midst of the greatest disappointments you could ever imagine, you can see there's hope. Ephesians 6:12 says we don't struggle against flesh and blood. Well, it says we struggle against the powers, the invisible powers, the spiritual realm. But you know, when those young boys were on this field, they probably didn't feel like they were struggling against the powers in the air, that the evil forces that are out there. But when you step back and you think about what caused that war, there was disruption, deception, lies that were told and repeated and led to the point where the ailments and the problems that led to that particular war caused the death and destruction that it did. And so we have the power of the living God inside of us, and that's how we live. That's how we're powered. That's how we sort through thoughts. That's how we can become hopeful in a hopeless situation. If you go to 2 Corinthians 10:4, it says that the weapons to battle spiritual things are not of the flesh. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to rationalize with you. I'm going to use spiritual weapons, and they're divinely powerful, is what that verse says. And so the hope that can come in as hopeless as a situation as the Civil War was a hopeless situation, the hope that comes there is in Jesus Christ, who dwells in you. And so as you get into a warring situation, always know, and then there's hope. See ya.